Hi, I'm Mike, and you're watching Spiritual Combat. And today, the topic I'm doing today was a viewer suggested topic, um, and what the topic is signs a man is still a boy. And I think this is a good topic. And he's just talking about how immaturity amongst men today and what are the signs of that, and basically what a woman should be kind of looking out for when she's messing with men. And yeah, if you look, there's not a lot of good information out there about that, but I can, because I was very immature at one point. So I'd probably, I'm in a good position to, give information about that. So anyway, I think and I had thought about this for a while, and if you haven't already seen, I have a video about the three qualities a man needs to have, and those qualities are assertiveness, decisiveness, and he needs to be knowledgeable or logical, not knowledgeable, but logical. And those are three big ones, but another one I'll put there that's probably one of the most important ones, is he needs to be sincere or honest or what's a good word? With honest loyalty. You know what I'm saying? His word is his bond type of guy. There's a lot of these dudes here who, like a sign that the guy's not honest and straight up. And a lot of times you'll see it where the man won't even be honest with himself with a lot of stuff. And one sign that he's not honest and that he's kind of immature and he's still a boy is that they give vague answers, that they're afraid to just put it out there and take the heat for it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and be straight up with you. And that was one of the things that made me real attractive when I was still out in the world. I'd tell a woman straight up, I was like, yeah, I just want some puss. I was like, I'm not looking to get in a relationship. And I tell them that right from the start, before we ever got into bed or anything. I tell them it the night I met them in the club or whatever, and they respected that, and I was always real straight up and assertive, and it's part of being assertive. You got that boldness, you're willing to just say what needs to be said. Now, I'm in the truth now. I walk in the Word of God, and I follow the Bible, so I'm not about being out there getting puss now. And that brings me to, this still ties into loyalty and being honest with yourself. A big sign that these men are still immature and that they're still boys, this is a big one. They don't have that lust under control. And I mean, you can meet a man who's assertive, who's decisive, who's logical, and who's knowledgeable, who can make good decisions and everything. But this one little, that lust got him. I mean, with the internet porn now and just all the sex that gets pushed by the media and by society into men's faces, it's tough. And I read an article a while back, and it was saying how majority of women really don't truly know what it feels like how visual men are, like how men really feel when they see a woman with her butt hanging out with a nice body and all that. Women don't really know what men experience and physically feel, and like the type of stuff that goes on in a guy's head when he sees a woman dressed like that with her stuff hanging out or whatever. And just to test her, I was like, well, let me ask my wife, and asked her about it. And she was like, really? She's like, are you serious? She was like shocked and blown away that though it's that strong and that hard for a man, when he sees something like that. Like, the best way I could probably put it is, imagine having a horsefly on your nose, like that desire to itch to like go knock it off. You damn near can't resist it. You know what I'm saying? That's like the power, the emotion that'll come over a man sometimes when he sees these women, or when he sees a woman's body in front of him. And some men, it's just they got to go run off somewhere and rub one off or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So it's powerful, and women really need to understand this, because a lot of these women think they're gonna go attract a man with, well, I gotta wear these tight jeans because that's how I'm gonna get a man, and no, you're gonna attract a boy, a lust-filled dog. And that's why a lot of these women can't figure out why they keep meeting. I can't figure out why I keep meeting dogs. And you look like a steak. You know what I'm saying? You got everything hanging out. You're going to attract dogs. See, a man who has his lust under control and who's went through the crucible, through the refinement of getting himself right and getting delivered from that from that spirit of lust, and who's went through all that, when he'll see you a mile away. He'll see the woman who's got all of her stuff hung out all over the place. He'll see you come in before you ever see him, and he will avoid you because he already knows where your head's at and what you're about. So you'll never come across a true man. You won't, because he not even going to mess with you. But that lust-filled dog with that tricky forked tongue, oh, you're going to run into him every time, because you're a beacon. You're like, hey, dog food right here, and the dogs come running, So, yeah, so a big sign that a man is still a boy is that he does not have that lust under control. He's not honest with himself. Like, and one way you'll see that is like these guys they just don't give straight answer. They talk around stuff. They're real good at just kind of being shady and manipulative, and they're not giving direct answers, because that's how I am. I give a direct answer. I'm not too concerned of how you feel. I'm going to be real. I'm not going to tailor who I am to make you feel good in areas where it counts, when it's crossing my lines, I'm going to be straight up. And at the end of the day, and that's something that I know. At the end of the day, I know a real woman respects that. Now, these false women don't like it. And they're not going to be around me very long when they see how I am, because, it hurts them. They ain't got their emotions under control. But a real woman will respect a man who just straight up and comes with it. I mean, it just, bing, the flags go off. Get him. He the real deal, So yeah, that's a big sign that a man is immature. It's just, and what that is kind of a fear and a weakness to avoid. Hey, I want to avoid any conflict. I just want to get in you and get out of you. So I'm gonna just kind of tell you I'm gonna tell you what you want to hear and go along with stuff, and just not really set any lines in the sand, and just kind of, just not be straight up. And one of the other questions he asks is, and it goes right in, all this stuff ties in, perfectly, because his next question was how to lead your family biblically. If you're not a man who could just be straight up and stand firm in the midst of adversity and not have it affect him, that's what you have to be to lead a family. Because you're going to, look, this is what we're going to start doing. Oh, Dad, I don't want to do that. Mom, want to do that. Yeah, honey, we shouldn't do that. And a soft pushover dude who's not a servant, like, oh, well, maybe we shouldn't. And he's just a rudderless ship floating around, being led wherever it goes. But the assertive, decisive, logical man is just going to stand firm. Hey, I know y'all don't want to do it, but that's what we're doing because that is what's right. You know what I'm saying? So that in order to be able to lead your family biblically, you need to be grounded in the scriptures, understand who you are in the Bible, understand your role in the Bible, and and be mature as a man. And so how do you become mature as a man and become a real man? You got to find your identity in that Bible, find out where you don't line up with it, and you got to go inside yourself and do the work that needs to be done in order to become a real man. One of the and when you can't make that change, when you can't change and fix yourself, and you're trying all this stuff and you don't see it changing, you got a stronghold. You got a demonic spiritual stronghold that you need to lean on Jesus to get delivered from. You need to pray, fast, and seek the Lord. When I say seek the Lord, I mean read that Bible, study the Word, find the answer, praying. And like I said, praying all day, just, Lord, so show me the answer to this thing. All day, just tarrying, just staying after him on it. And then fast, and not just fast from food. You might have to cut some people off. You might stop watching TV. You might fast from a whole bunch of stuff, But you can't give up whatever you're trying to get delivered from, but give up, hey, I can't give up all this other stuff, So that's the other thing. So yeah. And then his other thing all this stuff ties right in to the one thing. So standing for the truth even when standing alone. That is being assertive. That is being decisive. That is being logical. And what you're going to find when you really start getting the understanding of this word and what it really teaches, you're going to be by yourself for a while. I remember reading this book that this guy wrote. He was saying that men who haven't been taught true masculinity and their true role growing up, by their father or whatever, so they don't have their true masculine identity, what ends up happening is there comes a time later on in their life when they're, in their mid to upper 20s to 30s or whatever, where there comes that time where it's like life presents the option for them to really figure out and learn who they are. And if they decide to embark on that thing and pursue who they are and find their real identity, they go through this point of time where they're all by themselves. They're just lonely. They're by themselves completely, and they can begin to discover who they are, as a real man. And it happened to me. I mean, I went through that point. It got to the point where I got frustrated with how my relationships were going with women. I hadn't been in a true relationship for, all the way up till I was like 30 or whatever. And I got frustrated with it, and I said, I want to get this part of my life handled. And I started on a search for the truth that eventually led me to the Bible. But I was by myself for a long time, and I liked it. And I was studying and just on this path of figuring out who I truly was and what my identity was. So, and I think it's good for men to go on that journey. Now, if you're in a relationship now, it's going to be a little tougher, but I mean, you're in a relationship, so it's going to be a little tougher, but it's still doable on that. But once and in that journey, when you're by yourself and you're alone, you get comfortable with being alone. And once you're comfortable with yourself, and you've created this life where you just enjoy yourself and being alone, then women come because you're just more attractive, because you're not desperate, you're just comfortable being alone. So yeah, so that was a good point there, good question. And then he talks about sexual sins like masturbation, adultery, fornication. It's like I said, that's part of that thing, because I dealt with that stuff, with the sexual sins, with the masturbation, with the pornography addiction. And what happened with that is I realized, when I came into knowledge of the truth, I realized, man, I am in heavy sin. I'm deceived with this thing. And I tried to stop doing it. I couldn't stop doing it. And I put it before the Lord. I said, Lord, I'm not going to stop looking at this stuff because I can't. But I said, what I can do is I can stop eating. I said, I can stop drinking caffeine. You know, I was just giving up anything that I could. I said, I could let go of this unforgiveness I have for these people who crossed me, and I could humble myself and come back to them even though they were in the wrong. And I did that. And I could pray, fast, and seek you with all my heart, mind, and soul. And I did that. And I went after that with everything, and I didn't focus on that. I just prayed that God would deliver me from it. And then a month went by, and I was like, man, I didn't even look at that stuff. Then a year went by, then 2 years, then 3 years. And God delivered me from that demon that was in me, that was taking me over, that was causing me to masturbate and to look at the pornography and the lust and just have all that control in me. And because there's some strongholds that you've given a demon, an evil spirit, you've given them authority to take you over and control you in that area of your life. And the porn is a big one because, with the internet and everything like that. So yeah, the thing is, you got to put it before God, and you can't try, like, some people can will themselves out of it if they're not given over to it. But I was given over to it. I mean, I had looked at it for years, and it had a stronghold in me. And I can honestly say this: I did not get delivered from it by my own will. There was nothing. I did not will myself to not look at it. I said, hey, I'm going to keep looking at it. I'm not going to try to stop. But I said, I am going to seek after you with everything. And he delivered me from it. Because prior to that, I had tried, and I have a lot of willpower, and I'm a pretty dedicated, go after type of guy. But I had no power against that thing, man. And I tried to do it on my own. That's why I know God delivered me from that. So, yeah. And check out some of my other videos about that. And I'm going to keep doing videos about that because I know that's a huge struggle. I mean, sometimes I go on Google Images just to check out, to find pictures for some of the videos I do here. And it could be something like, completely innocent, like drawing lines in the sand or something even biblical, Bible this. And if you scroll down far enough, eventually you're going to see some pornography or somebody naked. I mean, so it's just everywhere on the internet. So it's not a thing of, okay, I'm just going to get some filters so I don't have to see it. No, as time goes on, man, women are going to be walking around butt naked. I mean, the beach is like straight porn now. You know what I'm saying? So you need to be delivered from lust and masturbation and adultery and fornication, all these sexual strongholds on a spiritual level. It can't just be, okay, I'm going to put a filter on this and a filter on that. You're going to be then you're gonna go to the mall and see some Victoria's Secret poster and, oh, I gotta get home now. You know, you're gonna be done. So it has to be a spiritual deliverance from that. But anyway, yeah, those were some good questions that I got from that viewer, and I hope I answered, you know, everything. If I didn't, just send me another comment or whatever, and I'll do a video about that. I appreciate the questions. Anyway, you're watching Spiritual Combat. Go to the Spiritual Combat channel on YouTube and subscribe and share the videos. And my name is Mike, and have a nice day.